Okay, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Harachakodash, double honors to the Apostle Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who are tuning to these videos. Alright, so this is going to be a quick video. This is, I was reading this article today. The title of this video, the lesson of this video pretty much, it's going to be pertaining to the famine of the word, and also how elites are going to start to persecute the men of the Lord who are preaching on the streets. All right, so I was reading this article and it came out, today, August 1st, 2019, year Haragma. And the title says, "Exclusive: FBI document warns conspiracy theories are a new domestic terrorism threat." And so it's a long read, but I'm pretty much just gonna read the bit of it because I'm gonna make this video as fast as possible. Alright, so it says, the FBI for the first time has identified fringe conspiracy theories as a domestic terrorist threat, according to a previously unpublicized document obtained by Yahoo News. It says, the FBI intelligence bulletin from the Barreras Phoenix Field office, dated May 30th, 2019, describes conspiracy theory-driven domestic extremists as a growing threat, and notes that it is the first such report to do so. And you got to pay close attention to this this title that they're giving to these these people who are the FBI, the Edomites. They're labeling, and they label them as conspiracy theory driven domestic extremists, and pretty much the so-called BHI, the so-called Black Hebrew Israelites, the men of Great Millstone, even the men of IUIC, ISUPK, and so forth, Hebrew Israelites who pertain to One West teachings were considered conspiracy theory driven domestic extremists. Even though over here at Great Millstone, we emphasize how you're supposed to follow the laws under the sun in the nation that you live in, and this is a spiritual warfare, so there's no reason for us to be carnal. But nonetheless, we're domestic extremists because we're conspiracy theory driven. Like the theory of the Heavenly Father being a so-called black man, that's a so-called conspiracy theory according to this world. Alright, so as I'm going to continue reading, it says a growing threat, and notes that it is the first such report to do so. It lists a number of arrests, including some that haven't been publicized, related to violent incidents motivated by fringe beliefs. It says the document specifically mentions QAnon, a shadowy network that believes in a deep state conspiracy against President Trump, and Pizzagate, the theory that a pedophile ring including the Clintons' associates was being run out of the basement of Washington, D.C. pizza restaurant, which didn't actually have a basement. And there's one thing too about this QAnon. This is all just insider stuff. It's a red herring, so to speak. It's because pretty much the elites, they want to categorize everybody. If you go out there to the highways and hedges, if you subscribe to any Hebrew Israelites on YouTube, you get put on a specific list so that they can get ready for Project Megiddo when they start rounding us up during martial law and putting people who pertain to this fringe belief into concentration camps. Pretty much that's all just fulfilling prophecy. And I'm gonna bring out those precepts. Yeah, but continuing back to what I was saying about QAnon, is just pretty much it's just a ruse, because supposedly the story with QAnon is that there's an insider in the White House and he's leaking information as Donald Trump does his thing, so to speak. And so one of the things that QAnon said was that that the Clintons are associated with the Pizzagate people, with John Podesta, who's affiliated with that Jeffrey Epstein guy right now. He's big in the news because he was running a global sex trafficking operation. So because the things he's saying is true, but they're not saying the whole truth. That they're a red herring, and they're just getting people to file line so that they can be categorized in these fringe belief categories, so they can start locking them up. Hebrew Israelite or Edomite or Moabite, whatever nation you are, it doesn't matter at that point, because the elites are against everybody at this point. Mainly the people that they're mainly against is the men of Great Millstone, the Hebrew Israelites who are preaching and prophesying the name, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, because those are the main enemies who are breaking strongholds through, just all we're doing is preaching on the streets. All right, so to finish this article up, again it's a long article. I'm gonna leave the link in the YouTube video. It says the FBI assesses these conspiracy theories very likely will emerge, spread, and evolve in the modern information marketplace, occasionally driving both groups and individual extremists to carry out criminal or violent acts. And you notice how the FBI they assess that these conspiracy theories they very likely will emerge, because pretty much like what they're speaking about in this article, it's gonna happen. Is these so-called red herring, you know, internet conspiracy theories. They're put out there for a snare for everybody, and they're out there trying to catch as much people on that list. All right, so continue on this article. It says the document states it all also goes on to say the FBI believes conspiracy theory driven extremists are likely to increase during the 2020 presidential election cycle. And pretty much that's been happening ever since the Men of Great Millstone were out in 2008 on the YouTube. These conspiracy theories started getting bigger and bigger. Like the majority of Americans, they don't believe in the mainstream news. All of them, well, not all of them, but most of them now, they joke at 9/11. It could be because of all the inside or the inside job jokes, the internet memes that come out of it. Because pretty much 9/11 is just it's an inside joke in America now. All right, so this is a video. I don't know who this brother is. I don't know if he's in Great Millstone or any other Hebrew Israelite group, but nonetheless, this happened. This was uploaded on July 29th, 2019, and the title says "Police Arresting Hebrew Israelite for Teaching the Bible." And I'm only gonna play a little bit because you can get the gist of it. So this person right here, he's out here, he's preaching the word. He's pretty much doing what we do. We go out to the highways and hedges in the concourse of where everybody's at, all the nations, and supposedly he has a sign about the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the police come in and they start questioning him about that sign and saying it's got a racial thing on it. So yeah, you pretty much get the gist of what was happening in the video. Prophecies just being fulfilled. All right, so pretty much, so what this article is pretty much speaking on is Esau, his skirt is being lifted, and then everyone's seeing all these things, like the whole thing about like the pedophile, trade and all that stuff. All right, so I'm gonna read this precept. This is Nahum 3:5. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show thy nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. All right, so all these so-called conspiracies, whether they be true or not, they're bringing shame to America, because the majority of these conspiracy theories are actually true, like the whole pedophile ring thing. I don't have any factual evidence that I could show you physically, but all the evidence that you could believe it when it's all on the internet, and it's all on these alternative news outlets, and that's also why the Rothschilds they said pretty much that the worst thing to happen was the internet being invented, because it's pretty much that's making this precept right here be fulfilled, because all the nations are seeing how wicked America is, that the whole America was this number one in everything. That was just a front, because this place is dirty as fuck. Excuse my language. It's full of idiots, and it's just full of deceit. All right, so this is Isaiah 10 verse 1. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob their fatherless." And so, as you saw in that video, you already exit out of it. Is pretty much the elites who run this place. they're going to start writing laws and decrees so that we're not allowed to do what we're supposed to do. But pretty much that's just fulfilling prophecy of the famine of the word. Now, real quick is Amos 8 and 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And, all we're doing is we're just standing on the streets and doing what the Bible says. We're doing what the Bible tells us to do. Go out there and bid people to the marriage. But nonetheless, us being persecuted, that's in the scriptures, and it happening is a prophecy being fulfilled. So don't be surprised once that start happening to Great Millstone, because they're getting all these offshoot ones. Because I'm pretty sure that brother who was getting arrested, I don't think he's in a big so-called BHI group. I think he was like so to speak a freelancer doing it on his own volition. But nonetheless, once they start getting those little offshoot ones, they're gonna start attacking the bigger camps. You just don't be surprised when it happens. Be cheerful because prophecy is being fulfilled. All right, so this is Luke 21:12. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into the prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. Because so pretty much we're against the rulers for his namesake, because his namesake is their end in ruling. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, because right now this is the time for them to party and rejoice, because this is their kingdom. But it ain't gonna last for long. In fact, it's gonna end very soon. All right, so this is Revelation 2:10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prisons, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. And it's pretty much speaking of during these trying times when we're casted into prisons, because like I said, these elites, they already have a list of our names on it. Project Megiddo. They already got all our information. It doesn't take much for them to kick down your door in the middle of the night and arrest you. That's also why you're not supposed to be acting upon these things like a carnal person, because it's spiritual warfare. There's no reason to go against Esau's empire, in Esau's empire, while everything is bugged and everything is tracked. Like, he's gonna know that you're gonna fart before you do it. All right, so this is 1 Peter 3 and 14. And if ye suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are ye, and be not afraid of their terror, neither be troubled. Yeah, because it's pretty much you have to have the spirit of endurance. You're not supposed to have fear of the people who can kill your body, but rather have fear of the one who can kill both body and soul. All right, so this is the last precept I have. This is 1 Peter 4 and 12. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trials which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. Because as we're coming to the end of Esau's reign, it's gonna start getting bumpy, and the only thing that's gonna keep you on this straight, narrow, bumpy path is that the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that you've been collecting while you had a chance to learn it all. So verse 13 says, but rejoice inasmuch as ye are partakers of Hamashiach's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. And you got to remember, the servant is not greater than the master. Just how Yahweh Shai suffered, we're also going to suffer going through these Jacob's trouble. Nonetheless, we're going to be saved out of it. You're not going to be like the 2/3 falling to the waysides, because the end of this is getting beamed up in those chariots, Lord willing that we're part of that number. All right, so verse 14 says, if ye be reproached for the name of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, happy are ye, for the spirit of glory and of the Most High resteth upon you. On their part he is evil spoken of, but on your part he is glorified. That's the whole world, because we're not of this world. If the world didn't hate us, they would welcome us and invite us to parties and stuff. I'm reading that precept verbatim. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. All right, so this is real quick. This is John 15 and 19. If you were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. So think it not strange that the world hates you, and that they want you to be put in derision. All right, so verse 15 says, but let none of your suffering as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's matters. This is pretty much saying, if you get sent to a concentration camp, arrested or something, it better be for Yahweh Shai's name's sake, not because you're out there doing some dirt, being an unlawful servant. All right, so at the end of this video, again, I'm gonna have this article on the YouTube channel so you can read the rest of it. Because like I said, it was a long article. But anyways, I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harakakodash, and Shalom Akim.